Recording device. Recording in progress. Okay. Joy, welcome everyone. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamakyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Radhanatam Vitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitangscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah He Krishna Karana Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Actually, it's okay. I was not getting sound here, but it's coming now. Okay. Yeah, welcome everyone to Saturday Sanga, September 11th, 2021. And speaking and singing from all around the world. Here we are together. I'm in Sadhu-bhavan in Poland. September 11th, that date has quite some significance for us who grew up, who came from the USA, but also for people in other parts of the world. September 11th, 2001 was the terrorist attack on the World Trade Center and other attempts, also the Pentagon in America. I was in Vrindavan at the time that happened. And I remember I was walking through Loy Bazaar. I think I was on my way to or from Radharaman Temple. It was morning and not very many people on the street, but I saw shopkeepers sitting in their shops reading their newspapers. And they would look up and they would see me, and whether they knew I was from the US or not, but they sort of identified me with the US. And I think one maybe called me over, showed me the headline. Yeah, it was very shocking. And that was already 20 years ago. Are we getting wiser day by day, year by year? Today we have two in our audience. We have Madaiji Nitai, and we have Bhakta Anukul, as we call him, since he's very cool. So we can sing song of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Upadesa, song number 11 from Kalyana Kalpataru. In this song, he's continuing to address his mind, and this time he's really strongly scolding his mind for thinking that his body is something special. It's a very graphic song, I would say. Yeah. Okay, let's see what we can do with it. Ruper Gaurava Keno Bhai anitya kalebar kabhu nahe sthiratar shaman aile kichu anga sitala ankhi spanda-hina citar agune hoibe chai. O mind, my dear friend, why is your bodily beauty such an object of your proud vanity? Kalebar means body, anitya, not eternal, this. Kabhu nahe sthiratar, there's no permanence. This body is temporary and there is no certainty whatsoever of permanence. Kabhu nahe sthiratar. Shaman aile kichu. There is no shamana, there's no aile, incoming. I don't quite know how that's being used. Anga sitala. After Yamaraj has paid his visit and taken your soul away, this body will then become cold, sitala. Anga, this body, sitala haibe, it will become cold. Ankhi spanda-hina, the eyes will remain motionless. Ankhi, the eyes, spanda-hina, without motion, without life. Citar agune hoibe chai. And in the fiery funeral pyre, it will simply turn to ashes. Agun, is fire. Chai means ashes. Citar, I guess, means of the funeral pyre, of the pile of wood, possibly. Jai Shondarja Hero, Darponete Nirantar, sva-sibar hoibe bojana. Mind, you repeatedly behold the lovely handsomeness of this face. Shaundarya, the handsomeness or beauty. Darponete nirantar. Darpana means a mirror. Cheto darpana marjanam, darpaner. Darponete, in the mirror. Nirantar, constantly. Sva-sibar, shibar, hoive bojana. There will be enjoyment, bojana. Shah and shibar, it will become nice food for the dogs and jackals. Je bostre adara koro, jeba abarana poro, kota shabarohibe takon. At that time, where will you keep all the decorative ornaments? Abarana means ornaments. And valuable clothes, bastre, which you appreciate with such high esteem. Para, maybe. Kota shaba, rahibe, where will you keep rahibe? Takon, jakon takon, at that time. Kota, where? Shaba, where will you keep all this at that time? Dara shuta bandhu shabe, shmashane tomare loibe, dagda kori grihete ashibe. Your beloved wife, Dara, sons, Suta, Bandhu, friends, Shabe, all Shmashane, will take you to the crematorium. Loibe, they will take to the smashana, to the place for burning bodies. And after burning you, they will simply return back to their homes. Dagda kori, koriya, having burned. Grihete ashibe, they will go back home. You belong to whom? To me, kar. Of whom are you? Ke tomar. And whom belongs to you? Of you. Yeah, who is of you? Ke tomar. Now just try to grasp the essential significance of all this. Ebe buji, deko shar. Ebe, these things. Buji, bujiya, understanding. Deko, see, sar, the essence. Deho-nasa, abasha, gatibe. That is, the destruction of this temporary body will definitely come to pass. Deho-nasa, avasha, with a V in Sanskrit, abasha, definitely, gatibe, it will happen. Su-nitya-sambala chao, hari-guna shoda gau, harinam japaha shodai. My dear mind, if you really want the eternal auspicious way of life, su-nitya-sambala, ciao, it's actually not if you really want, it's more like a command. Want it, you should want it. Hari-guna shoda gau. Then just sing aloud. Gau, the glories of the Lord. Sada, always. Hari-guna shoda gau. Harinam japaha shodai. So japaha is making it into an imperative, like a command. Chant japa, do japa, harinam japaha. Shada, shada, it means always, and the e on the end gives it emphasis. Shadai, like there's she, se, this, and shei, this very one. We see often, or a and a. Ku-tarka choriya mono koro Krishna aradhano bino der ashroy tahai. Abandoning all useless arguments. Ku-tarka. Ku means bad. Tarka, arguments. Chariya, abandoning. Mana, O mind. Just worship Krishna. Koro Krishna aradhana. Do the aradhana. Koro aradhana. Koroha, the apostrophe, I think, indicates it would be with H-A on the end. Koroha. Krishna aradhana. For, why? Such worship is certainly the only shelter of Bhaktivinoda. Ashray is shelter. Taha, I think, is like therefore, or because. So of Vinod, of Bhaktivinoda. Tahai, therefore, emphasis. Okay, like that. Ruper Gaurava Keno Bhai. Ruper Gaurava Keno Bhai. Anitya kalebar kabhu nahe sthiratar. Anitya kalebar kabhu nahe sthiratar. Samana aile kichu nahe. Samana aile kichu nahe. Anga sitala ankhi spanda-hina Ruper. Anga sitala ankhi spanda-hina Ruper. Citar agune abecha citar agune abecha je sandarja hero darpanete nirantara Jesana Arya Hero Darpanete Nirantara sva-sibar hoibe boja sva-sibar hoibe bojana je bastre adara kodo je babarana para je bastre adar kodo je babarana para kotasaba rahibe takon kotasaba rahibe takon dada sutta bandhu sabe smashane tomare lobe dada sutta bandhu sabe smashane tomare lobe dukta kori grihete asibe dukta kori grihete asibe tumi kar ke tomar ebe buji dekosa tumi kar ke tomar ebe buji dekosa deho-nasa abasya gati de deho-nasa abasya gati be su-nitya-sambala cha hari-guna sadagam su-nitya-sambala cha hari-guna sadagam harinam japaha sadai harinam japaha sadai ku-tarka chadiyaman koro Krishna aralan ku-tarka chadiyaman koro Krishna aralan binode ashroy tai binode ashroy tai Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Haribo, 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 Gaura, Haribo, Nitago. It's kind of ironic. We singing sweetly about the horrors of what happens to the material body when it dies. It gets burned, and the jackals and dogs are coming, sva-sibar, hoide bojan. It's their bojan. And yeah, but the last verse has the positive advice. Su-nitya-sambala, ciao. Have desire for the, how does it translate? For the eternal auspicious way of life, sambala. Su-nitya-sambala. Yeah, this is what we're after. Hari-guna shada gao. Always sing the gunas, the qualities. The word guna can mean quality. It can also mean virtue, the virtues of the Lord. Harinam japaha shadai. Always chant japa. Hare Krishna japa. And the counterpart of that is ku-tarka charya, giving up the bad arguments. Again, the positive side, koro Krishna aradhana, do the worship of Krishna. And why should we do it? To follow the example of our acharyas, such as Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura. He's saying, this is what I do. And we like to follow our acharyas. That's the safe thing to do. Okay. All right. So again, welcome to those of you who have joined us in the last few minutes. I appreciate your joining. I need to remind myself sometimes, don't take the association of devotees for granted. Because Krishna could take it away. And then where are we? Then we're in trouble. Okay, so, well, I do have my hermeneutics topic, but let's see if any of you have something you want to share before we go into that. Please feel welcome. Any news, any special reflections you've had this week you'd like to share? I think we're all very good at kind of keeping things to ourselves, isn't it? You know, all kinds of things are going through our heads in the course of a day. And we kind of thank God that nobody is seeing it all. There can be so many things that we'd have maybe a hard time explaining. But what we're also trying to learn is to share what is shareable and to make more shareable what we have, because that is also bhakti. As one of our visiting professors in Oxford, who was a scholar of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, said, the late Joseph O'Connell, he said, there's vertical bhakti and there's horizontal bhakti. Vertical bhakti is the devotion we have going upward to the Lord. And coming down from the Lord is the Lord's grace. And there's horizontal bhakti. There's our devotion that we share. And of course, Srila Rupa Goswami is reminding us in his Upadesa. He sketches very briefly 6 sorts of ways of sharing, 2 of which are a bit difficult online, namely prasadam, bhukte bojayate chaiva. We can do this maybe mentally. But we can also, if we take it figuratively, we may take, or if we take the word prasada in the less specific sense, the more general sense, prasada means, actually it means clarity, but it comes to mean the Lord's grace, or pleasure, what is pleasing to the Lord, or how the Lord pleases the devotee, that is prasad. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. Yasya prasadat na gati kuta api. Kutaha, how do you expect to gain the prasada of the Lord without the prasada of the Guru? That's what that verse is saying. And the Guru in the previous verse, it's interesting, sakshat haritva tvena samasta shastrair uktas tata bhavyate eva shadhi, and then kintu, however. So it starts out in the first half saying the Guru is sakshat haritva, is directly the quality of Hari. You have Hari and then Haritva, which makes it an abstract noun, the quality of Hari. Sakshat means direct. Samasta Shastrai, by all the Shastras, Ukta, it is said. And it's also said by the sadhus, Uktas tata bhavyate eva sadbi. But kintu prabhu yaha priya eva tasya, the Lord, on the one side, the Guru is the quality of the Lord, and on the other side, he is dear to the Lord. Priya eva, dear to the Lord. So in other words, that puts the Guru in the same category as we. We're all bhakta, so the Guru is also bhakta. And so that brings the identification of Guru with using this terminology, the horizontal. Okay, I'm rambling on. Who was first? I just now noticed there's Pandava Bhagavati, and there's also Dear Lalita with hands raised. Who wants to be first? Now everyone's going to be very humble. Okay.
Ladies first.
You'll be first?
No, ladies first.
Oh, ladies first. Okay, so Dear Lalita.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, and everybody. This is more of a question, Guru Maharaj, and it's also an observation of our Vaishnava tradition. Well, as far as I understand, this our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya that we belong to, we worship the Lord in separation. So I was thinking about, the Dashtami approaching. So I started reading about us, the Sakis. So when I come to the Radhastami, then I will be reading more about su-nitya-sambala. So I'm reading separately about each personality, where they were born, what village they were born in, and how much they're older than Radhavani, and what's their service for Krishna and Radhavani, what kind of complexion they have, and what kind of clothes they're wearing, and what's their mood. So I found it very, very...
And their service.
Yes, their service. Yeah, and what mood they're serving the Lord, and what is it that they're offering. What's that their little service that they take care of on like constantly. So but then I was also thinking, once you mentioned, Gurmaj, that you were talking about oh yes, that's when Krishna was Kshetra was over, and he was sort of going to Dwarka with his wives, and when gopis came, and not only gopis but residents of Braja came to actually pull the car back to Vrindavan. So I was just thinking, you know, because I'm not on that level of that pure separation, I sort of connect that with pain. So how do I deal with that sort of thinking that that's the actually high separation? So if that's the like a pure separation that doesn't create sort of material pain, obviously, because I'm a material body, I'm not pure. How do I, in this brainless situation, connect that? I mean, I'm talking about myself. Don't have enough capacity maybe to understand. Maybe it's something that I can't understand with my head, in my heart. Or would you be so kind to guide me through that sort of meditation of that I don't connect that highest love for God with pain, because obviously we don't want that pain in our life. Any pain, emotional and physical and mental, we don't want that in our lives. How do I connect that meditation? Okay, that's not a pain, but it's a pain because the gopis are crying. Oh, when Krishna leaves Vrindavan. I mean, originally he doesn't live in Vrindavan, but there's so much in separation from Krishna that they, even if Krishna is there, they're still in that sort of separation. Mm-hmm. If you wouldn't mind guiding me through the Shastra, in the Shastric way, so I don't go to some parts of speculating about the understanding of that love and separation for Krishna. I apologize if
I would just say that all of our understanding of all these things is through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And how do we understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? We understand through especially Krishnadas Kaviraj, Chaitanya Charitamrita. There are other works, of course. Vrindavan Das Thakur is important. Kavi Karnapur is important, but in a sense, the final word, as one scholar put it, is Krishnadas Kaviraj. And so we can kind of satisfy ourselves that it's not so much about us imagining ourselves, you know, right up there amongst the gopis. That's not going to work. That's going to be artificial for sure. So, so what can we do is we appreciate Lord Chaitanya, and we appreciate the whole of his life story. I mean, to say, yes, there's, of course, there's Mahaprabhu in his deeply intense absorption in feelings of separation in the Gambhira, which is described in later chapters of Antya Lila. That's there. But there's everything else that's described. There's Lord Chaitanya with all the devotees. There's Lord Chaitanya exhibiting a whole variety of moods, actually, different avatars and so on. And so I think there's no there's nothing to be gained by trying to sort of artificially put ourselves in that position. That's not going to work. That's not our position to do that. And Lord Chaitanya himself said that, Gopi Bhar Tupada Kamalayo. Dasa Dasa, I'm a servant of the servant of the servant. So we're removed from that position. So that intensity of love, which is viraha bhava and vipralamba bhava, we see that from a certain distance, and we appreciate. And what we appreciate is that it's pure, it's intense, it's focused on Krishna. And then we do the best we can to back that up, to back up. You know, we're in the chorus. You know, like you have actors on a stage, the main actors, and then in the background there's the chorus. They're singing the backup. And they're, by doing that, they're participating. They actually are, they're experiencing in the right way what it is for them to experience, not trying to, you know, be someone and experience something that's not for them. Yeah, you mentioned as it's really true that Radhashtami is coming up Tuesday. Huh? Yeah, Tuesday is Radhashtami. So it's nice that you're preparing in that way, reading about the gopis and all their different qualities and services. There's variety in the spiritual world. Krishna expands into so many different forms, expanding his devotional exchanging is going on in infinite ways, really.
I apologize very much. I would just like to ask, as we see ourselves in the chorus, as a background, just observing,
Not just observing.
Oh.
Just like in the chorus is singing. They have their part, and when their part comes, they're right there singing their part.
Okay, I get it now. Okay.
Yeah, we're not just standing, you know, like, you know, with our hands folded. So, Krishna, Radha Krishna. Oh, what's going on now?
Understand. Understand. I was just thinking, because when we worship deities personally, they have personal deities, and
yeah,
there is reciprocation through prayers and to in different ways. Krishna personally is present in our lives, so that's very personal.
Yes. And also when you're in the chorus, in the, you know, the background of Krishna Lila, whatever, that's also you're also getting reciprocation with Krishna. It's both and. We're in the background and Krishna is, we feel that connection.
I understand. Thank you very much for that.
You understand? Well, then you can explain it to me, because I don't understand.
I mean, I understand what you just told me. I do not understand more than that. Thank you very much, Gaurava.
Okay, Pandava and Bhagavati. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. For now on, it's just Pandava because Bhagavati is on her way. Um, mm, I was, this is kind of like quick comment and reaction to the song, because I was a bit too lazy to read it before, but it's so very true. And I mean, I don't want to advertise myself as the knower, but I experienced this, this event a few years before I met devotees and Srila Prabhupada's books. I had this near-death experience, I would say. And, it was, anyway, so it was not during the funeral, but just as a live person. And that was awakening for me for spirituality and looking for all the answers. And I'm happy in so many ways that there was no internet at that time, because for now there's so much trash everywhere that anyone can, even those who are sometimes sincerely interested in finding those answers, are confused because there are so many advertising about death and what afterlife and everything, and then to convince somebody to Krishna consciousness is more even complicated than ever because of the competition. And so I'm trying to incorporate my experience and my my way of life, and sometimes it's successful. I have to be sometimes very strong, and because if the arguments is not really strong, people just ignore it. So this is a really great song of Bhaktivinoda Thakura. I will use also
incorporate in your online preaching.
Yes, I have a small group. I have a small group or room on Facebook, mainly in Polish, because there are so many English speaking, let's say, groups about that topic. So there's so much competition again, so there's not so many people interested, almost 200 now, but I'm trying to post every 2 or 3 weeks a new post, in encouraging people to think about this and to bring some aspects, of course, with the positive way, not to scare, because many people are really scared. Even the term death is kind of scary for many. So today's song is really wonderful. And my question, if, because I posted it, but I will just say it now, because of the yesterday's holiday, or many people observe it today, because of Lord Ganesh festival, the only way I've heard is that Lord Ganesh was writing Mahabharata and maybe something more, which I don't know, according to the agreement with Srila Vyasadeva. And I found out, because I'm working with many Indian people, they don't know anything about that aspect. They just worship Lord Ganesh. So if you could maybe say a few words about Lord Ganesh in this connection. I mean, of course, we should pay respect to all gods and demigods, and of course, anyway, if you could maybe say something.
You mean in respect to his being Vyasa's secretary?
or anything you can say.
Well, there's the verse in Brahma Samhita. How does that start? Can't remember the first line. Which is referring to Ganesha as basically as a servant of Govinda. And that's how it is we understand all the divinities. Shiva also, Kshirang Yatada Divikara Vishesha Yogat, etc. Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So similarly with Ganesha. I don't know, different descriptions are there. Ganesha is especially popular in Maharashtra. All over India, but especially Maharashtra, they celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi and so on. He is seen as the remover of obstacles. He is seen as, he's identified with transition because he's kind of situated in the, at the threshold between inside and outside. So he's an in-between divinity. There's all kinds of stories about Ganesh. There's so many different forms of Ganesh, multi-headed Ganesha. There's dancing Ganesha. There's yeah. And I think there's a humorous side to Ganesha because he's elephant head, and the story that goes with that, of course, or stories, different ones. But his vahana, his vehicle, is a rat. You know? So that's a lot of fun, I think. But yeah, sometime maybe we can discuss about Ganesh, but that's what comes to mind at the moment.
And he's also mentioned in Jagannath Shtakam.
Yes.
If I remember.
Yeah, he is also a form that Lord Jagannath appears as in one of the festivals after, it comes right after Snan Yatra. Yeah. Now I want to say, is that okay?
Yes, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Kaveri, you have a 6-minute video for the BBT. You wanted to show this. I guess you're aware that videos don't show very well on Zoom. They go very slowly or something, but.
Yeah, I practiced yesterday with Rati. We connected on a Zoom on our own. Yeah, I'm aware that it might be a little bit like that for some, but that's why I ask if you feel like it's something that I could do, or it's okay. I can just send the link to YouTube otherwise.
No, I think it's nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Ready?
Would you give me a second, because I'm noticing that my battery is about to die. I'll just connect that.
Dead battery is terrible.
Yes.
The dead battery syndrome. You have to put the batteries on. Don't put batteries on a cremation fire. They'll explode. And Sita has something to share, she says. But
okay, I'm here. Okay. So
Okay.
if I can share screen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'll put share computer sound, right? Okay. Here we go.
A young soul sits in his home, phone in his palm, TV's on so he doesn't feel alone. It seems like the glow of the screens bring a dull light to the room but not warmth to the scene. He's trying to unwind, decompress and sit back, but he feels stressed, he can't clear his mind or relax. I need to get out of this room, out of this house, out of this world of disquiet, anxiety, doubts. Some fresh air, a few deep breaths in the park under the trees before it closes at dark is just what I need. So he takes a walk. He'll sit at his favorite spot, connect with nature, be alone with his thoughts. The air is crisp, the breeze carries the scent of rain. He takes a seat and hears someone whisper his name. There's no one around, but a man feeding some birds, bread in his hand, eyes down, not speaking a word. He looks in surprise as there's a book at his side. The pages stir with the wind and the softest of sighs. It calls to him. What could this be? No one claims it when he asks. I guess I'll take it with me. He gets to his feet, book tucked in his coat, as he heads to the street, intrigued by this mystery. Set into motion by this young soul's need, the eternal Prince of Beauty has planted the seed. That night, under the light of the moon, this soul's mind and heart are consumed by the wisdom and spirit of this text. It connects him line direct to the source of this world and the next. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hidden within these books lay keys to unlock inner perfection, to live life in service through a spirit of self-reflection, connection to the divine source, single-minded direction, to the Lord of the heart, this soul's eternal affection. The book lifts his consciousness, his mind is refined to a state of peace. This voyage unwinds. Reading summons from the spiritual realm sacred sound. Embraced within his heart, he deepens his practice. Progress, day by day, page by page, prayer after prayer, and his life is changed. The years pass, and the light that ignited his transformation smolders within the depths of his soul, though he never loses sight of the goal. The weight of obligation slows his determination, a subtle burden that slowly wears away his control. He works in the world, doing his best to live with integrity and spiritual consciousness. Though his intentions are good, he's not doing all that he should. He finds that his discipline is being put to the test. But as he sits in his daughter's room, his mind turns back to the magic of that night, the mystic sages, the wisdom, the light, spiritual discipline, service, interdimensional flight to a realm of love and devotion, every soul's birthright. A fresh day, inspiration renewed, the family comes together to clean the temple room. It clears the mind and cleanses the heart. Excitement is in the air. This is a beautiful start. Service to God, Krishna, and chanting his name. Devotion to Prabhupada with gratitude that he came to deliver this message through these books and the scripture, to paint the spiritual world in a glorious picture. A line unbroken, age through age, from an ancient era to the modern day. His daughter today becomes tomorrow's sage. She starts her journey at the park, page by page, page by page.
Bravo. Very well done.
I hope you all like it, and you, Guru Maharaj. This
Yeah.
is not new. It has been, I think last year we made it. But it was very exciting. It was a very wonderful experience also, the way we worked as a group with Javi Prabhu and with Bali, with Balaram. It was just amazing. And of course, we were all enthused by Shishika Prabhu's enthusiasm. So it was very, very nice. And we made it like in no time. Like I think initially we wanted to make a whole animation, but it was just too much work for the timeline we had. So we used the still images with some sort of movement. And this was part of a webinar that His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu gave online. So this is just a part of the presentation. And Javi Prabhu made an amazing jingle for the webinar, and it's also available on YouTube if you look for it. It's very catchy.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I especially like little Krishna wearing a yellow raincoat.
Yeah, we used we tried to make him like I don't know, I visualize him like just being this charming little boy, and he's there all along your life. And like you were talking with dear Lalita, like there is this reciprocation also. If you want to look for something. And we also try to approach realistic moments or the struggles that we may have in life. You know, we start with enthusiasm, and then life, and then this, and then that, and you still believe, but you and then how to reawaken or how to grasp that motivation when it comes back. And I also used references to make it more approachable. I used references from everything, mostly my personal things. You know, there's elements in the decorations and all that. There's references to one movie I liked as a kid, The Never Ending Story, which is a book. It's about a boy reading a book, and it's just fascinating. So there's an element of that too. It was very, very sweet. The whole process was very sweet.
Yeah, that's what makes it satisfying. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So be a sage, page by page, huh? Sita Sundari, you wanted to share something.
Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Well, Hare Krishna, I am now daring to say something. Thank you so much. And Maharaj was mentioning feeling gratitude. And I recalled a quote saying, gratitude is not the highest of all virtues, but it is the mother of all virtues. And so I just want to express this gratitude that I get to be here with you all. And I have met so many of my art's disciples through the years, and each one I've met, I've been so moved and impressed. And yeah, it's really an honor to meet all of you, really. And for me to be here every Saturday, it's like a highlight. And I wake up every Saturday, yay, today Sanga. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for that. And very, very happy for you then that you have your Guru Maharaj, and I'm very happy for him that he has all of you. So yeah.
And we're happy to have you with us
Thank
whenever you're able.
Thank you.
So yes, Sita Sundari is hiding out in central Germany
Yeah.
with her good husband, Radharadhya Prabhu. And unless they're somewhere else, Spain, Portugal, Madeira. Okay. Then, oh, we have quite some things here. Chitrakarani is, what is she saying? Is it okay if we leave the body without clearly recognizing our eternal identity? Well, that's kind of another form of Arjuna's question in Bhagavad Gita. I should get the exact quote. Krishna's worried about this. What if I don't complete my journey? Then what? Yeah, first Arjuna is complaining about all this mind self-control stuff. He says, I can't do it. And then he asks, Ayati shadhaya upetaha yogat chalita manasa aprapya. That's the key word, aprapya, not gaining. Yoga sangsiddhim kam gatim. What's the destination? Gatim. Krishna gachati. What destination does he go to? And then he goes on to ask, Kachin na ubaya vibrashta chinna brang iva nashati. Chinna, torn, broken, cut through. Abram means a cloud. Iva, so like a cloud. Nashati. Oh, mighty armed Krishna, does not such a man, such a person who's bewildered from the path of transcendence, fall away from both spiritual and material success, and perish like a riven cloud, a destroyed cloud with no position in any sphere. Vimudha Brahmanapati, on the path of transcendence. Apratishta, not established, without any position. A third verse, he says, this is my doubt. I ask you to dispel it completely, but for you, no one is able to be found who can destroy this doubt. And then Krishna answers, Partha naiveha na iva iha na amutra. This is verse 40, chapter 6. Vinashaha tasya vidyate. There's no vinasha of one's progress. Nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgatim tata gachati. O tata, O son, friend. Can be son, it can be father, it can be friend. Dear one, I guess. A transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities, that's Kalyana Krit, does not meet with destruction, vinashaha, either in this world or in the spiritual world. Iha, na amutra, this life or the next life. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. And then he goes on with some more details. The unsuccessful yogi, after many births, many years of enjoyment on higher planets, is born into a family of righteous people or a family of rich aristocracy. And eventually, possibly, he's taking birth in a family of transcendentalists. Dhimatam. And then the good news, verse 43, tatra tam buddhisam yogam lavate purvadehikam. So purvadehikam, that which he gained previously in a previous body, lavate is gained. Tatra, here, there is Buddhisam yogam, there's literally a coming together of the Buddhi. There's a revival. Yatate tataha bhuyaha, and then endeavoring from there, tataha, from there, samsiddha, endeavoring for perfection, samsiddha. And then again, more in the next verse. 2 more verses. Basically just saying, yes, gradually the yogi attains perfection. Tato yati param gatim, verse 45. So we do the best we can in this life. And we depend on Krishna. And if Krishna wants us to come back again for more lessons in the classroom, in the school of hard knocks. No, I don't want more hard knocks. In any case, we keep going. That's what Krishna is reassuring us.
May I say something, Guru Maharaj?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your answer. When I was in 2007, when I heard about Srila Prabhupada the first time, so I was hearing from different devotees, and then I had this conception that while reading Srimad Bhagavatam, we should realize our true spiritual, not only self-realization, but also our true spiritual identity with Krishna in the spiritual realm. So I heard it like it's a must, and so I had this always in the back of my mind. But if I don't know this, what will happen? If I don't know if we're able to reach Krishna, but then we don't know who we are. So I try to solve this actually. Is this true? I mean, is this a correct understanding that we should really?
Well, there's 2 things. There's urgency and there's patience. And it's a bit of a paradox, but they're both good. Utsaha nischayat dhairyat. And the patience is important, because if we don't have patience, there's a danger. And the danger is that we jump into something which turns out to be artificial and which is actually not our identity. And it can be quite dangerous. We can go slipping and sliding right down into quite some heavy illusion. And that's why, yeah, the patience is needed to go the way up the mountain step by step, not artificially jumping.
And is it a must to know this? I mean, do we really have to realize this? Is it really necessary, or just surrender?
What's really necessary is that we realize that whatever particular identity we might have in relation to Krishna, in terms of eternal Leela and so on, whatever that might be, there's one thing that we can be sure of, and that is that we are servant. We are Jivar Sarupa Krishna Nitya-das. That doesn't go away. And so one can feel peaceful in that, just recognizing, okay, I'm Krishna's eternal servant. How cool. How cool that is.
Yes, I think that's very nice.
It doesn't mean that the eternal, relationship is going to be therefore dasya rasa. It might be something else, but still there's going to be the underlying principle of service will always be there. Because the best servant is Srimati Radharani. That's in her utterly super intense love for Krishna. What makes it so intense and so exalted is that it's all for Krishna. It's not for her. Which is hard to imagine, because we always calculate what's in it for me.
I'm really happy to hear this, because I was finding that stressful, that I have to know, but just surrendering and just, okay, I'm sorry, this is much, this is great, I think, because always trying to figure out something, this is so, I don't know, I don't really find it attractive for me, try to figure out.
It's not something to figure out. It's not like, okay, today we're going to sit down and figure out what is my eternal rasa with Krishna. I don't think that's going to work.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Okay. Vrindapati, there's a lot coming today, actually. Maybe it's because Srimati Radharani's appearance day is coming. Thinking about our intimacy with Krishna. So same theme. Thinking, we all have our personal attractions to Krishna and a type of rasa that seems to appeal more than the other. My question is, how deep in these meditations are we allowed to go? When we go to the spiritual world, are we allowed to hug Krishna? for example. When we go to the spiritual world, we just might be allowed to hug Krishna. It's quite possible. I don't know, if you're in the bhava of a cow, do cows hug Krishna? Krishna hugs the cows. How, yeah, allowance, the idea of being allowed, I think it comes again back to this spirit of service and spirit of following, and also assisting. The idea of service is, and yeah, I think this is what makes it interesting, if you like. The idea of connecting with the service of Krishna is, it's all about assisting. So we're assisting our guru, we are assisting previous acharyas, we're assisting the Vaishnavas, and on up. And this assisting is ultimately, I mean, this gets a little esoteric, but it's one way we've been listening to some talks by Madhavananda Prabhu, and there's this, he brings in this interesting idea of how Krishna feels indebted to the gopis for their utterly intense love, which he feels inadequate to reciprocate. And there's a verse in the Ras Lila, Rasa Panchadhyaya that indicates that. Na parayeham niravatya samyujam svasadu kritya vibudayushapi yaha. I can't reciprocate with your love, which puts Krishna in an awkward position because he promises to reciprocate everyone's. So what's the solution? The solution is that he appears as Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya enacts, he takes on the mood of the highest of the gopis, and therefore having the most intense love, and imbibing that mood, and at the same time being worldly renounced. He takes formal sannyas, so he gives up association of his family and so on. He is, by this act, by this gesture, and also by this experience, he is, so to say, paying the debt that he, Krishna, owes. But, and this is something I want to talk with Madhavananda about, I should probably wait, but seems to me, and I think he's saying this also, we're all assisting in Krishna paying back his debt. How is that? We're assisting Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya invites all the devotees to help him. He's a gardener, he's distributing fruits of love of God, and he says, I can't do it all myself, so please help. So we are helping out, and this helping in distributing the fruits, that is assisting, and the assistance with respect to this reason for Lord Chaitanya appearing, paying back his debt. So we are helping with that. And it really struck me this morning. This is really nice, actually, to have a feeling of assisting in this way. It's like we have a job to do. We have a job to do for Krishna. So I don't know, that maybe doesn't address how deep to go, but that, you know, how to measure how deep to go. We go as deep as is real, not artificially. I would put it that way. Okay, well, a lot of devotees like the video. Everybody wants to connect, wants to get the video. Okay, and the link you've given, and Kirtida Jivani says, gracias. And, oh, here's some more of this topic. Okay. Gokulananda Hari asks, what is understood as service in the spiritual world? It is very clear. What is service in this world where everyone has a need of something to accomplish, but in the spiritual world? Yeah, in the spiritual world, everyone is enhancing Krishna's pleasure. So we're getting glimpses of that in the Bhagavatam, especially the 10th canto. And it's understood Nava Navarasa Damadudyantam Rantumasit, that in the spiritual world, Krishna's making all fresh, new rasa, new pastimes for the devotees to assist in. So we can imagine there's every day some new surprise comes. Something, yeah, you never know what to expect. Avadutta says, oh, it's to me, there is an example in Bhaktivinoda Samrita Sindhu of Narada telling possibly a carpenter he should worship the deities with a desire to attain Vatsalya. Doing that, the carpenter did attain Raja and Vatsalya Bhava to Krishna. Do we sadhakas, can we sadhakas have similar desire when worshiping the deities? Well, again, it seems like we come back to the same point again and again. Yes, but not artificially. Then the question becomes, what is artificial? And for that, we are keeping ourselves open for Krishna to open up to us how we can aspire to be. Of course, it would be artificial if I start aspiring for Vatsalya rasa in the spiritual world, and then it turns out that's the wrong one. But notice in this example that Narada is telling this devotee, do like this, serve like this, and have this mood, this aspiration. So that has to come from the guru. It's not that we make it up. Okay, Hare Krishna. Our fertile imaginations. I'm always encouraging imagination in Krishna's service, but it's something we have to be a little careful with as well. We can get lost if we're not careful. And to help us with that, now we come to my topic. We have Vaishnava Hermeneutics. Now let's see, can I share this? Share screen. Here we go. So I think most of you were with us last week, but in case you were not, we started introducing this topic. Can you all see the purposes of ISKCON hermeneutics? Okay.
Yes.
Hermeneutics is a fancy word for interpretation. And maybe it's helpful to say interpretation in the broad sense of how do we apply, how do we digest. There's shravanam, there's mananam, there's nididhyasanam. There's hearing, there's reflecting on, and there's digesting. So we might say that hermeneutics is helping with the mananam, with the reflecting, and yeah, also the nididhyasanam, the digesting, and I wanted to say, I mentioned last week that when we use the word shastra, we're using this word in an inclusive way. Sadhu, shastra, and guru. We hear so many things. It's sort of the common story. A new person comes to the temple. In the old days, before they could, if he was male, practically before they could even have second thoughts, we would shave them up. Unlike Anukul here, it has a full head of hair. So shave them up, leave them with a sika. And then over the next few weeks and months, everybody is giving advice to that poor bhakta. Do this, don't do this. Think this, don't think this. Say this, don't say this. And the poor bhakta gets so confused, doesn't know what to do. Anyway, Shastra is inclusive in our use here. It's written text, it's also oral text, if you like, which is recognized by the tradition as, in one way or another, authoritative. And one of the big questions will be, to what extent, in relation to what, in what context, for what purpose is a particular statement of Shastra to be understood. Okay, so a little bit of overviewing here. This file, which I can share with you, is called the Foundations document, and it goes through in just a few pages the whole thing. In fact, it's in 13 pages. The full document with all the detailed explanations is well over 200 pages. And I suppose I can share that also, although it's probably not the very most final version of it, but it's fairly final. So what is the purpose of, excuse me, purpose of ISKCON hermeneutics? I think we have 4 purposes here, isn't it? No, 3. Okay. So to promote respectful and constructive Shastric conversation. The opposite of that is disrespectful and destructive Shastric argument. So to get beyond that, to respectful and constructive Shastric conversation, authentic understanding and explanation of Shastric conclusions, resolution of philosophical controversies within ISKCON, and proficiency in addressing difficult or contentious Shastric statements. Now, it has to be said that this is not, this program is not what, when I was a kid, we had something called paint by number. You could get something, some picture, and it was all in outline, and then each area within the outlines had a number, and you just looked at the list of numbers. It gave which color to put. So then you take that color and you fill in wherever that number is. And so there's no thinking involved. This is not paint by number, which means also it's not giving pre-cooked conclusions. It's completely open-ended. So this third point, resolution of philosophical controversies within ISKCON. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. We seem to like controversies, and we'd rather have the controversy continue on. We don't want to resolve it. It's more interesting to keep having the controversy. So it's not that this course has worked out all the answers, but rather it's giving facility for thinking better with Shastra and discussing better with Shastra. I would put it that way. Resolution, proficiency in addressing difficult. So that's the aim. It's to help us become more proficient, more able, more expert to deal with difficult statements. A second purpose is has three aspects. One is for individual members, just to help us in fulfilling our personal spiritual lives. I was thinking about this morning. Shastra, Prabhupada makes this point, I think, in at least one lecture. There's two things. There's Shastra with a long A, and there's Shastra with a short A. Actually, maybe this is in the Bhagavatam. Anyway, and if one does not accept the guidance of Shastra, then one will be controlled by Shastra. And Shastra with a short A means weapons. In other words, by physical force, ultimately, one will be forced by external circumstances, by the material energy, one way or another, to act in certain ways. If one does not pay attention to and pursue, I would say lifelong, we're trying to pursue deeper understanding, appreciation of Shastra, living in the shelter of Shastra, having Shastra chakshu, seeing with the eyes of Shastra, like that. And we can say this is something that separates our culture from that of the Sahajiya. Prabhupada talks about this. The Sahajiya is saying, Shastra, this is so mundane. Who cares about Shastra? We don't need you can say like that, but where will you end up? It's dangerous, because if there's no control by Shastra, there will be control by Shastra. And then for ISKCON leaders, unity and diversity within ISKCON. And here I would like to suggest that we are all ISKCON leaders. Anyone who is engaged in the mission and is, even for one other person, giving example of practice of Vaishnava life is an ISKCON leader. And if we're not ISKCON leaders, we can become ISKCON leaders by learning well how to comprehend Shastra and share it with others. And then for the general public, so this means our outreach, as we say, relevance and appreciation. I would say not just relevance and appreciation of ISKCON, but relevance and appreciation of Krishna, of Krishna's devotees, of the culture of Vaishnava community. So these are three aspects of the second purpose for hermeneutics. And then a third purpose, to support ISKCON leaders by helping to maintain organizational purpose, ethos, and policy congruent with Srila Prabhupada's teachings, helping to prepare the ground for authentic Brahminical dialogue with broader society and within ISKCON, and helping to ensure the dynamic continuity of parampara as relevant to contemporary contexts and with fidelity to Srila Prabhupada, the previous acharyas, and ISKCON's broader heritage. You can see this is all kind of densely written, and it's been, long in construction. All of this has been carefully worked out over, as I said, actually over years. Okay, so yeah, we could probably say much more about each one of these, but I wanted to give a real fast overview to show just what we can go into more of. So next, what we have, those of you who were with us last week, I mentioned there's a process that's been worked out, and it's a kind of a path, and it starts with self-reflection about one's own qualifications or lack of qualifications. And then it proceeds to, or in the next section, it includes reflecting on qualities, 6 qualities that we felt were necessary for doing this, for pursuing understanding of Shastra. And here they are. And before we go through these, just to say what's coming up, then we have 24 principles by which we understand Shastra. And to help us to apply the principles, we have 40, not 14, but 40 tools. And all of this is briefly listed here, and then each one of these is expanded in our full document. Yeah, so So the starting point is qualities. And qualities, if you think about it, they're not very measurable. You know, we always talk about how humility is important. How much humility? Yeah. Well, a lot. The more, the better. Absolute humility. Prabhu, you're not being humble. What do you mean I'm not being humble? I'm more humble than you are. So these are qualities which I think we have to say are always ideals that we strive toward, and we never, as a Vaishnava, we never say, yeah, I've figured out now how to be humble. Now I'm humble. So, you know, I can get a badge that I can put on my dhoti, on my kurta, that says humble devotee, you know, bona fide humble devotee. It never works that way. As soon as one would do that, it would expose oneself as being the opposite. So there's something always paradoxical about this. And there's something elusive about it as well, I would say. Still, we don't want to just say, well, if it's paradoxical and it's elusive, then why even talk about it? No, we need to talk about it because we need to pursue ideals. Because if we don't pursue ideals, we just fall down into the material world. To answer you, Bhaktin Ipek, yes, I will make this file available. So yeah, humility and service mood, we have a little elaboration here. With respect to this hermeneutics process, avoidance of pointless debate or egotistically trying to win an argument, reflection on personal motives, fulfillment and contentment, exemplary conduct. And of course, each one of these can be expanded. Pointless debate or trying to win an argument. There's a section, I think it's in this document briefly, that there are 3 types of debate. We can get to that. But just quickly now, the second one, fidelity to text and tradition. Fidelity means having faith in. So it means trust in textual authority, respect for the author, acceptance of sacred authority, freedom from offense, loyalty and gratitude to gurus and tradition. In other words, it's not coming to the whole Vaishnava Shastra world in a challenging spirit. Some months ago, I was attending as a student a very nice course on Tattva Sandarbha by what's his name? Raja Prema in Govardhan, very learned devotee and very dedicated. And it was an online course. And one of the students, the first 2 or 3 lessons, he was always coming up with one or another attempt to sort of stump the Swami, we say, to find a loophole in Jiva Goswami's argument. And the instructor came around on the next session, gave a very strong and quite heavy talk for about 5 minutes, saying, this is not what we are about here. We are simply trying to understand Jiva Goswami. We're not trying to argue with him. Now that can be a fine line because, of course, the acharyas also are engaging themselves sometimes in argument of various sorts. And we may, especially in the context that we had here, support, no. Yeah, the last of these for the general public relevance and appreciation, I would say of the Vaishnava tradition, just widely, but okay, ISKCON. We're going to encounter all kinds of resistance. So then how to deal with that? Loyalty and gratitude to gurus and tradition. So this is sort of basic foundational attitude that we want to start with as we approach Shastra. Discerning search for truth means being genuinely interested, having ardent curiosity, really wanting to understand, giving value to logic. There is reasoning in our Shastra. It's not always clear what the reasoning is, but we can assume that that Shastra is reasonable. Linguistically analytical. This means sometimes we want to look closely at a text. We may need to look at the Sanskrit of a text to get a full understanding. Being discriminating, being thoughtful, and interrogating, which means something, it means strongly questioning, but also challenging our own understanding, getting to the bottom of things. Etavadeva jigyasya tattva jigyasunatmana. Anvayat yatarekam yam yatsyat sarvatra sarvada. Always searching for the truth in all circumstances. Whoa, the time is going quickly. Okay. Honest and authentic conversation. You can see, I think, some of this overlaps in various ways, but it helps to see the different things. So being respectful, having patience, willingness to listen. And this, I think, is very important. Comfort with uncertainty and ambiguity. We like things to be in black and white all the time, but what if there are shades of gray? Shastra may challenge us for that. A devotee links Shastra to life experience. We try always to see the connections to our own lives. And we take responsibility for and we articulate our opinions. So we can have opinions. It's not that we turn off our minds, our brains, our intelligence. We have our own experiences. And ultimately, that's all we have. And we have the experience of our own lives, which includes what we hear from Shastra. Again, using Shastra in the broad sense. We hear from our gurus and so on. This all becomes, we want this to be all part of our experience. Openness to change and transformation. This means being introspective. And introspective means looking inside, literally, but it also means shining light inside into the dark places, into the shadows, and acknowledging the shadows, we may want to say. Being reflective and reflexive. The word reflexive means being self-conscious of the limitations of one's own perspective. yes, I have my experience and you have your experience, and these are different. So if I just acknowledge, okay, this is what I see based on my experience, that's being reflexive. Being personally detached, of course, this is something, it's an ideal we're all pursuing. Being intuitive, well, is that something that can be developed? Some say, you're either intuitive or you're not. Let's just say being the next one, sensitive to the Lord's guidance. Being open to the Lord's guidance. Being ready to say yes to Krishna's guidance. And making an effort to consciously apply Shastra in one's own life and having a genuine love of virtue. These are all aspects of openness to change and transformation. Yeah, one could write, lots and lots and lots about each one of these. The last one, benevolence and generosity, means assuming that others have good intention. So we're conversing about something and gets into more of an argument. Let's assume that the other has good intentions. And let us do our best to be kind and merciful. Charitable, there's something called philosophical charity. That one assumes the best of a particular argument. Welcoming alternative opinions, not getting nervous just because somebody else has a different opinion. Actually welcoming, that's very interesting. You're seeing it that way. So let's discuss. And being happy with plurality and discourse. Not the opposite is my way or the highway, we say in English. My way or the highway. And being sincere in outreach. That refers also to what we call preaching. This was a whirlwind tour of the first part of our course. I'm not giving this as a course here. I'm giving an overview. And there is a course, as I've mentioned last time. And it will be given again soon. We don't know when yet. Mother Ormila is going to be organizing that. But what I'm trying to do is prime the pump and get you thinking that this could be a good thing. Krishna, 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 hey. So thank you all so much. I want to wish you all a wonderful week, a wonderful Radhashtami festival. Let's all remember, if you're wondering what to read for Radhashtami, one option is Chapter 4 of Adi Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is explaining quite extensively Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's resolve that he wants to appear with internal purposes of realizing the love of Srimati Radharani. Okay, we're getting requests for the document. Let me ask, Dharmagupta, you're there?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
So if I send you the document, are you able to make it available for others?
Yes, sure, Guru Maharaj. I can make it available. Just share the link. I will upload it and share the link for everyone to download.
Okay. Very good, very good. Okay. So from Sadhu-bhavan to all of you all over the world, thank you again, and Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Jai Krishna, Jai
Guru Maharaj
Radhe,
ki
Jai
Radhe Krishna.